resurrection is a stumbling block for many because dead people usually stay dead.
Yes, of course. You're totally right. Sometimes I'm talking to students about the resurrection, and I would say to them that if it turned out that Jesus wasn't resurrected from the grave, I'd stop being a Christian right away. I mean, the truth of Christianity hinges on the resurrection. So Paul said, if Christ has not been raised, your faith is futile and you're still in your sins. So in other words, he's basically saying, my acceptance before God and my eternal destiny depends on whether this event actually happened.
Well, if that is the case, is there any evidence for the resurrection?
I think there is. One thing I love about Christianity is that it's an historic faith. So the events took place in history. Fortunately, Jesus didn't say, I will rise again in my spirit. I mean, there's no way for us to check that out. But he said, I will rise again in my body. Now that's an event we could verify by using various historical methods. One such method would be the minimal facts approach.
Okay.
This approach argues for the historicity of an event, for example the resurrection, by using only those historical facts which are granted by the majority of scholars. And that would include critical scholars. A critical scholar would be someone who studies the Bible as you would study any other piece of ancient literature. I'd like to share two historical facts, but they're more than just these two historical facts.
All right.
The first historical fact is the empty tomb. The second are the experiences which led the disciples to believe that Christ had appeared to them. So these historical facts are granted by the majority of scholars. So every person in the whole world needs to come up with a satisfying theory to explain these historical facts.
The first historical fact you mentioned is the empty tomb.
Yes. It's striking to me that the disciples didn't start preaching the resurrection in some kind of obscure village. I mean, they started preaching the resurrection in Jerusalem. I mean, it's the very city where Christ died and had been buried. There's no way for them they could have done this if the body of Jesus was still in the tomb. For the Jewish authorities would have simply dragged the body of Jesus out to prove the disciples wrong, which they didn't, because even they realized that the body of Jesus wasn't there anymore.
But an empty tomb surely doesn't equal a resurrected Christ.
No, I mean, maybe the disciples stole the body and simply said that Christ had appeared to them. But this begs the question, why were virtually all of them willing to die a gruesome death at the hands of their own self-made lie? I mean, that doesn't make sense, does it?
Maybe they so badly wanted to believe this, after all, they were friends of Jesus, that actually they were deluded.
Well, it could be possible. Some people propose that they experienced strong hallucinations, which led them to sincerely believe that Jesus appeared to them.
My point.
Yeah, but the problem is, Jesus did not just appear to one person. He appeared to many persons. Not just to individuals, but to groups of people. Now, there's no parallel in science or psychology which prove that group hallucinations of this kind can actually happen. So this tells me that the experiences which the disciples had were real experiences. And thereby we can know through their eyewitness testimony that Jesus actually did rise from the grave. So we all have to give an explanation for the empty tomb and for what the disciples saw that made them to give up everything for their belief in the resurrection. It seems to me that it takes more faith to believe that they were either lying or were deluded than to believe that Jesus actually did rise from the grave.